Hey everybody, you're watching Cole the Corn Star. We ended up getting a little bit of rain last night, so it's a little bit sticky in the soil, and then they are also talking 60-mile-per-hour winds later today, so we are going to be working inside of my parents' house today instead of doing some things on the farm. For today's adventure, I'm going to attempt to learn how to hook up a sink. I have been running around my family's farm since I was pretty much old enough to walk. So I've been running around and experiencing what farm life has been like for approximately 24 years. And during those 24 years, especially during the beginning, my family was in a lot of farm debt. And they were doing that in an effort to try to grow the farm for in the future. And when I was growing up, we didn't have a lot of money because of that, because all the money that we made basically went to the bank, or it went to whoever was loaning us money. And so as a result, when we had projects that needed to be done, we oftentimes were not able to afford to hire somebody to do them. So we had to figure out how to do them ourselves. After experiencing over 20 years of watching my family come into projects and do them themselves, it has given me a lot of confidence to be able to pretty much come into anything and say, I think I can do that. So when my parents were told that it was going to cost $13,000 for them to replace the water lines in their basement and install a new septic line for a bathroom remodel that they are doing, as well as wire up the bathroom remodel, I looked at that and I thought, I think we can do that for a lot less. Up to today, we have already replaced all of the old water lines in the basement, so we put in about 200 feet of them, and then we also installed a new shutoff coming into the house. I know it looks a bit Frankenstein-y, but it works. We have also completely gutted the room that is going to be remodeled into the bathroom, so that means we just have the septic lines yet to install, as well as the electrical. And due to the fact that my mom has not yet picked out the shower that she wants, we don't know exactly where our rough-in plumbing needs to go, so we can't get the plumbing done yet. And then since we haven't built any of the walls that are going to go in the bathroom, we can't get our electrical done yet. So we're kind of at a little bit of a standstill right now when it comes to the plumbing and the electrical. While waiting for my mom to decide what kind of shower that she wanted, we decided to get started on another project. One that my mom has been asking for us to do for about the last 8 years. And that would be to install a hair washing sink out in the garage, so when she gets done cutting my hair, she can wash it out here and make it all look nice and pretty. And also to install a sink in the basement. So up to this point, we have already installed all of our drain lines. We got everything running nice and conspicuous against the wall. I even tied the sump pump discharge line into it, and then we got to pass through the wall, and then it actually goes up into the garage, up through that window right there. So this ties up to the sink area out in the garage for the hair washing station. So we already have all the drainage stuff done. So today we're gonna be hooking up the water lines to it, and we're gonna see if we can get everything actually working. And I have never hooked up a sink before, so here goes nothing. Step number one, we currently have no water to the sink. Our water supply is up there, so I need to connect from up there to down here. And just so we have a little bit more room to work, we are going to be taking this off. Since our sink water comes through the top over on this side, I'm going to drill 2 holes over here in this corner, so then that way we can run our water lines through here, and then hopefully we'll be able to save a lot of real estate over here by not crowding everything up with all of our plumbing. This sink cabinet is made out of particle board, which absolutely cannot get wet. If it gets wet, it will destroy itself, at least when it's in the bare form. When it's painted like this, it does a pretty good job. The paint protects it. But right here, where we just drilled into everything, we now have exposed particle board. So in order to try to protect this area and keep it from falling apart over time from the humidity of the basement, I'm gonna see if I can put a little bit of this white silicone over the top of it, and hopefully this should help protect it. Not really sure how much to put on. I'm gonna be playing with this for a minute. Next step, I need to get some holes drilled right here so that way we can screw this cabinet to the wall and then we don't have to worry about it moving anymore.
The hairdresser station is all set up. All I have to do is just put some lines and hook up the sink. Then all our plumbing is back there. All we have to do is just to connect these ends. That's where we're ready to do the water lines inside there. So we're just gonna simply poke out and then just put one little section here, which we already have them cut. So now we're gonna set up the sink and have that ready.
Little weather update. The wind has started to pick up. It's supposed to pick up a lot more here in a little while, and we're starting to get a little nice rain with it. I got my lines teed in up there, and I ran through 2 floor joists, plus I got my elbows on, so now I am ready to put my vertical line in. In order to keep my vertical line from moving, I want to install these little clips first, but I'm running into a little bit of a problem. When I drilled my holes in the wall, I drilled them for these T30 concrete screws that are pretty thick, and when I went to go take my concrete screw and put it in my little clip, the hole for the head is much, much too small. So these concrete screws are not going to work for these. I found some regular T25 screws and I took one of these. It fits right into the hole nicely. We have plenty of room. See, it sits way down inside of there like it's supposed to. But the problem I'm running into now is when I take these screws and I try to put them in the hole that I drilled earlier, way too big. It doesn't grip whatsoever. So that is my problem. Now the good news is we do have a little workaround. Roman actually showed me this. In order for us to do it, we need about a 2-inch piece of stranded copper wire and then just a regular T25 screw. So all we're gonna do is simply take this 2-inch piece of copper wire, we're gonna stick it in our hole that's too big, and then we'll just take our T25 screw, we'll stick it in right behind it, kind of get it started just a little bit. Now I need to grab my impact, and once we hit it with the impact, it should just screw right in. If I can do this with my right hand. There we go. Look at that. That's incredible. Got my water lines in, we got our shut-offs on. We still got to get everything all threaded up here for the actual sink, but I've had the water off to the house while I've been working on this, so I guess moment of truth, we're gonna see if I hooked everything up right. If nothing leaks, we did a good job. Nice and gently. Oh, I see water going down into it. There we go, nothing's dripping. Perfect. I'm now on my last part, which is to put the sealant on the top so that way we can seal our sink top down. So I got some white silicone sealant right here, and I'm trying to put an even 3/16 of an inch bead all the way around, and we're gonna try not to spill. Here we go. On in the back, on over there, and there. One more corner. Ooh, let's get the old P-trap hooked up. Look at that. Here we go, final step, getting the faucet installed. Oh, they don't give the guy a lot of room under here. Oh, come on. Not a lot of room. If I would have read the directions first, I would have known that I needed to put this in first, but I did not read the directions first, so hopefully my silicone has not stuck down too much yet. Oh yeah, we're good. Try not to make a big mess here though. Okay. Now we can get in there and tighten things up. It's so much easier like this, wow. So this is my point of view under the sink, looking straight up. I set the sink in earlier and it just didn't feel like it quite fit in here right. On the right side, I got a pretty good gap between the sink and the wall, right where it meets in the corner. But then when I look on the back, it's super tight. So I don't think we're seated all the way down up in there because I think I maybe tightened my bolts a little bit too tight here on the end. So this board is bent. So I'm gonna take everything out again. So I think what is happening is my outsides are a little bit tighter than my inside, so it's kind of making a bit of a smiley face. It's a little hard to tell because the wall's not perfectly straight behind it, but that has to be what's going on. So I'm just gonna loosen these ones up a little bit, and then I'm just gonna add another shim in on each side, and then that should straighten us out. Then we should get a whole lot better seal on the back. I was just feeling the top and it didn't feel like it was solid like it should be. Well, I guess here goes nothing. This is a day's worth of work for me right here. Let's see if it works. If I can turn them on. Okay, cold's not leaking. Hot's on. Got our drain hooked up. Okay, let's see if she works. Oh wow, really don't got anything dripping down here. Uh-oh, we got the drippy drips. I honestly might just not have it tight enough. Very high likelihood, but I'm hungry. So I'm gonna go eat supper. We'll mess with that later. Supper's over now. I got my true plumbing outfit on. I think I just need to use these to tighten up this ring right here. I hand tightened it earlier, but I just don't think I got it tight enough. And nope, it's still dripping. I took it all apart and I re-put everything back together. My top part's not leaking anymore, but now my leak has moved to this one. And this one can be problematic if you don't get it perfectly straight. I put this one on first, so I thought I was good, but apparently I'm not. I'm just gonna leave my bucket under there. It's getting late. I'm gonna go to bed. I will deal with it tomorrow. Let's take a look at the damage. We got some snow, and it is super windy. Roman, I think I know what my problem is.
What is it?
Well, I've been wearing my farming ball cap, and then I've also been wearing my farming stocking cap. I'm doing a construction job right now, so I need to have my construction hat on.
True, I think once you put your tool belt yesterday, you were so much more productive too.
I was.
And
but
then
the hat that's the missing link right now. That is why the sink is not working right.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with egg.
Correct.
Is it steel toe?
No, these are composite toe.
Oh, well, that's good. So that's gonna help you too.
So I'm gonna see what I can find for a hat. A Cole the Contractor hat. There we go. That is our exploring hat, so we're not gonna be using that one. Would it be acceptable if I just did this instead?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of construction people do that.
Okay, this is what we're gonna do. We got some sleep last night, not a lot, but we did get some. I actually had dreams about doing plumbing and it woke me up. I was in a deep plumbing problem in my head in a dream, and it woke me up when I was getting to a snag in the road. But anyway, we're gonna get this thing fixed and then we're gonna move on to the next project. The reason why we are leaking is because right here on this bend, we have this plastic beveled edge, and that plastic beveled edge sits inside of this plastic beveled edge. There's no actual gasket or anything in between, and so you just have plastic on plastic. So you have to get them lined up perfectly straight in order to get them to not leak, and apparently I must not be on perfectly straight. Now I did watch a video last night where a guy said you can use a little bit of Teflon tape around the threads, and that can sometimes help. So I did put some of that on there, but it was still leaking on me, so I just must not be on there perfectly straight. Never mind, we have a little
You see,
change of plans.
see, I have a crack going here too.
Yeah, we're all cracked up on that thing.
I think that's what it was doing.
Do we have another one of these, or do we need to go get one eventually? Not today.
Eventually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sink's done. Hold on, I gotta put the door handles on. Then the sink's gonna be done. I better turn the water off on this, otherwise somebody's gonna make a big mess. Now the question is, which way does this handle go? I don't wanna put it on upside down. We'll go with that. Here we go, here's our test. Looks like the handles are working good. This is now done. Well, it's done minus the broken drain line that we have, but we're not making a trip into town today with the weather, so this is done for today. Hang on a minute, our crack goes about 1/4 inch below our rubber gasket, and our rubber gasket stops right there at the top, so actually our crack does not matter whatsoever because it all drains down, so we can actually make this work today. Okie dokie, artichokey. Let's get you on straight. So far, so good. So far, so good. It's dry under there. It's dry through there. No, 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 no. It's leaking right there. After taking the sink apart and putting it back together 3 more times, I think we might be onto something now. Got the sink with some water in it. Let's run a lot of water through. Do full heavy duty testing. Nope, it's dripping all over the place. From the top, not down there anymore. Maybe down there too. Maybe, yeah, it's in both places. Oh boy, we have a mess on our hands. I'm just leaving the bucket under the sink for right now. We're gonna mess with this later.
Cole came out a little bit ago, had tears in his eyes, and he goes, "Dad, I keep working on this drain in the basement and it's still leaking. I don't know what to do." And I said, "Son, it's okay. Wipe away the tears. I'll go down and look at it and see what you messed up." Yep, he messed it up good. I'll crawl under there and see what he did. Sometimes these projects, you don't understand why things go together good and the next time they don't, but I just want to check it out. See why? It shouldn't be that big of an issue. Well, so far everything's working. Probably don't have to tell Cole, but what I did was I could turn it a little bit more, the nut, the flange, to tighten it up. I don't see any drips coming out of it now, so yep, that's what you call father strength. My dad used to do that to me all the time. I shouldn't say all the time, but sometimes, you know, you have troubles with something, and it's just like your father comes up there, doot, doot, doot. How'd you do that, Dad? So, I don't know, something about dads just do things like that to drive us crazy when we're kids, and now I get to do it to my son. But honestly, I don't know. That's all I did was try to tighten it up with my hand. So hopefully it's not leaking anymore. It feels dry. We're gonna go with it.
Well, well, well. I don't know what my dad did underneath the sink, but he thought he got it fixed. But it's been a few minutes now, and there are a couple drops down here, and there's a couple hanging off the bottom of the pipe right there. So there is still something leaking in this fitting. It must be extremely slow. But yeah, it is still wet right there. So, not fixed yet.
It's been you, Daddy Cornstar. Now is it my turn? If mine is leaking, then we'll ask Justin to do it. Then Cooper and Zach. And I'm sure Neva will get it in the end. I just ask her right away.
We could just hypothetically keep the bucket under there permanently.
Or just put a bunch of glue there and fuse it forever. I mean, another option, just let it, or wipe it dry and put silicone around here.
I'm not a plumber, Roman, but I don't think we're technically supposed to do this.
I think I know why plumbers use the Schedule 40 stuff, thick one, the heavy duty, because I guess they know that these are notorious for doing this. And for the customer, it's a lot cheaper to pay extra for material than paying for a plumber to keep messing with it.
So if this doesn't work, we're buying schedule 40 is what you're saying.
No, we're gluing this thing together.
Okay, let's see if Roman has the touch. We are running water. We should have no drippy if he did everything right. So far, so good. I'll check back on that in a little bit to see if it's leaking. In the meantime, I'm going to start drilling some holes over the top of this pipe, and I need to install some strapping so that way we can actually strap this to the wall, and then we can get rid of our little stands that are currently holding up the pipe. There we go, I just did one Mach 1 to see how it's gonna work. Looks like we're all fastened up. I got my little stand out of the way and nothing moved. I'm gonna put one more right here. We'll put one more down there. And then, I don't know, we'll probably put 3, 4, maybe 5 more over here. You know, I really thought we were gonna need a lot over here, but it seems pretty solid. So we're just going with 2. Taking a look at Roman's plumbing job. It looks like we do not have any dripping under there. So that looks good. Okay, this sink is all done. All the plumbing over here is all done. We are now ready to move over to our next thing, which is to start doing some of the rough and septic drainage over underneath of the bathroom remodel. But before we do that, I'm gonna let Roman work on that kind of alone. I'm gonna do a little bit of picking up here because we are starting to get a big mess going on and it's getting hard to hear ourselves think. This drain has been running pretty slow lately, so when the washing machine and stuff kicks on, you get a big old puddle of stuff out here, and then it just makes it look kind of grungy. I cleaned everything up around it. I've been running hot water in there for about 10 minutes. Now this is hot water straight out of the hot water heater, so it's as hot as it can get. I have no cold water on. I am now going to try to take my hose and see if I can stick it down in the drain a little bit. There may be some grease or some chunks of something kind of stuck up in there, and hopefully this 140-degree water will be able to maybe kind of melt some of the pluggage and kind of push things through, so that way hopefully we can get a little bit better flow. There we go. This looks so much better. We can actually hear ourselves think a little bit. Our other side, on the other hand, that one is still looking pretty messy. So here's what I'm going to do. We have a whole bunch of PVC pipe and we have a whole bunch of fittings and tools and stuff. So I'm going to take all of our PVC pipe and I'm going to lay it over on this clean side so that way we can find stuff nice and easy. It's a lot better than going through these boxes and these bags. And then over here I'm going to take all of our tools and lay them out on the floor, and then I'm going to have all of our fittings and stuff laid out on the floor over here as well. So if we need a tool or fitting, we'll come in here. If we need PVC pipe stuff, then we'll be coming over here. It should help us be able to keep our job site nice and organized. I really like the saying, it's easy to keep a clean area clean. So when it comes to job sites, I probably have the tendency of going a little overboard when it comes to cleaning and organizing them. But I like it because it makes it a lot easier for us to find our stuff. Like right here, we just have everything laid out. We can see it all. We know exactly what we have. We don't have to dig through a bunch of boxes or bags to find it. And then here, where we have a nice big clean area, if we're working on something and we set down a tool, the tool is so easy to find because there's not a bunch of mess around it. So we don't waste a lot of time just looking for tools. And then like over on this side, just getting things cleaned up, it actually gives us a lot more area where we can actually work. Now that we got our sink all hooked up, we have it nice and leak-free down below. We got our line all tied to the wall, and we got this area all cleaned and organized. We are now ready to move on to our next thing, which is to put our rough-in septic plumbing in the bathroom remodel. So we are officially done with this area over here. This is a really good feeling, but this is going to be a project for another day because I'm tired. Roman just went home. It is dark outside, so we're gonna call it here. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.